All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to do a top 5 tier list of each position, and then we're going to follow that on Thursday with 25 to 16 of the top 25. Which role do we start with? Let's get right into the business. Let's not waste time, yeah? Where do we start? Do we go top to what? Top to soup. All right, let's do top to soup. Can you put all our players in one tier so we can post screenshots on Twitter? All right, let me do it. This year, obviously, is the truth. I think we've already finished the tier list. All the G2 players, ironically, are first. So for this tournament, we're going to call them G1. It doesn't have the same ring to it, but we need to state facts. We need to state facts. We need to stick with the facts, because this channel is all about the facts. It's all facts here. All right, let's get serious. 6+ is honorable mention tier. We start with top lane. So the main people that we want to consider, right, is of course 369, Bin, Zeus, Zika, Doran, like Summit. We have Keen, Kana. Sorry, I don't know why I laughed so mean. I'm so sorry, Kana. I don't know why I laughed so mean. But let's just pull up everybody just to give the reasoning, right? I think that's all top lane is, right? Besides Oscarinin. So for me, I think the only conversation about who is top 1 is between Bin and 369. And I think it's all about your own flavor. I think that in a lot of cases, I think most people have such a negative opinion for no damn reason. Well, they have a good reason. It's not a bad reason to have lost against JDG and then LNG, right? It's not a terrible reason. Those are the most recent best of 5s that Bilibili played, but I put a lot of stock in what Bilibili has done the entire year. I think to devaluate their entire year based off of 2 BO5s that they played rather close in proximity, I think is extremely unfair. I think Bilibili has had a full year of basically being the second best team. I think that, when it comes to the flavoring, right? I think when it comes to the carry top laners, I think that Bin has a presence that makes him immaculate. I think though that sometimes Bin as a player, this identity of his opens up for a weakness. Meaning, there was this case, right, where G2 picked Janna into of course, Bilibili. And the Janna won them a game in theory. Follow me along here, because G2 was clearly worse than Bilibili. But the pivoting into the Janna because of the enemy being predictable is something that can be used against you, right? And I think that 369 as a player, I think that he is very, very complete. I think that he's not the only tank player. I think that it's like one of the best Renekton's on the server too, right? I think that's something to keep in mind. But when it comes to Bin Gwen, Bin Nar, Bin Camille, which probably will be a champion at the World Championship, Bin Jax, this is where he is a master. But I think that 369 in terms of completion in GP as well, right? I think that 369 is the number 1 top laner coming into the tournament for me. I think that the way he team fights and his role play in the context of this team is just ideal. I don't think that any other top laner could do 369's job on JDG better than 369 does. And that's what makes me place him as the number 1 top laner. He's just perfect for what the team is. And that's of course followed up by Bin being my second. I think Bin is damn scary. Come into this tournament, we know already that Bin is going to 1v9 a couple of games. A lot of games. We know a lot of bans are going to fly his way. A lot of teams are going to have to adjust to the fact that Bin exists, right? I think that Bin, when it comes to playing anything that is mechanically challenging and where you get mechanically tested, I think that is where Bin is your guy. If it comes to playing Gangplank, if it comes to playing Camille, Gwen, Jax, Bin can be very, very lethal. And in the right moment in time, Bin is the better top laner over 369. But in my mind, coming into this tournament, 369 is just perfect for the team. And in some weird way, Bin is also perfect for what Bilibili is, because Yagao is a very, very strong facilitator. Very, very strong role player, Yagao. And I think that Bilibili's struggles come from the fact that I think that Shun and additionally Elk, both of these players, they didn't manage the meta shift that well, And I think this is something that they can manage. Now for who's third. Let's just talk some elimination here, right? Let's just talk some elimination here. I think that in regards to eliminating some players, right, that are not in this conversation, it just has to be like all of the Westerners, you know, Fudge, Licorice, the Hawks. You know, these are solid players. You know, Adam too, Oscarinin too. You know, these are very solid players in the context of their region. Summit being probably the strongest top laner coming out of NA in terms of laning. I think this is the player that will be able to keep up well. Licorice more of the type of player that has a lot more unique picks and can find ways to break the enemy's comp. I think this is Licorice's strengths. We have Chasey, who's been rather weak in summer, so it's hard to consider him too. Kana has been a bit of a liability for Damwon, you know. It's like always that conversation. People just miss Nuguri when they look at Kana, you know. And the Shy, you know, the Shy is fun and all, but I think in the context of everybody that is else here, I think the Shy's inconsistencies are too glaring for us to even consider him, you know. I think that BB, you know, BB is very, very solid, and I think that he's the best Western top laner. I don't know what I said before. I think that BB's lane phase, I think, is going to be the main thing that is concerning, but that's not tied necessarily only to BB, that is just tied to the region. I think BB in terms of team fighting and champion pool, I think that BB is fantastic. Last year this year at MSI, he had the Casio pocket pick and he had the courage to actually make things volatile and was forcing bans. So I think BB is a player that has the potential to compete with some of these guys through the sheer force of their unique view to the game, which I think is super, super good. I think that BB's MSI really inspires confidence, but would he break up into this? You know, would he break up into this? Now the question is, right, where do you go from here? Where do you go from here? It's like Zika had such a breakout, such a breakout performance. Really, really big breakout performance. I think that it's too soon to elevate him though on third. I think that Zika, I have to take a look at, if I only isolate his last 4 weeks of play, I think that Zika is goddamn good. Goddamn good. I think what's great about Zika, right, in comparison to the other homies here, is that I don't think Zika necessarily has, let's say, a playstyle attached to him, right? I think that Zika could easily be better than them in due time. But I think in the current context of things, I can't jump there, right? I can't jump all the way there. And maybe this is a controversial one because T1 struggled, but I do think that the best players coming out of T1 is Zeus and Gumayushi. I think that Zeus and Gumayushi, I think Zeus mechanically, and maybe it comes from a biased lens because always the go-to solo queue VODs that I watch are the Zeus VODs. I think that Zeus, you know, in terms of how he plays in finals or whatever, like I don't really care about this because I think there's a lot more elements to it, and I don't really believe in this idea that Faker is puppeteering everyone and everyone's running it down. It's like in my mind, I think that the two best performers on T1 are Gumayushi and Zeus, and I think Zeus is super, super solid, super, super good. He's had some downturns, but I think that always those downturns are related to deeper team things. And I think that Zeus has had some very, very good stand-up performances. I think that his champion pool is amazing, mechanically really, really strong, fantastic laner, soaks up pressure. In a lot of cases, T1, their biggest issue is that they, in a lot of games, just play without a jungler. And I think that's the most rough thing. I've already said my reasonings for Zika, but I'm gonna put him fourth, and then I would put Keen fifth. Doran's an interesting guy, you know, because Doran, I think this is just a question of flavors here. I think Doran, as the team grows, I think that he's also playing a very, very specific role for Gen G. Now the main question here is Keen versus Doran. It's like Keen, it's like when you look at his regular split, he was super, super strong, was capable of playing the fringe counter picks. One of the few people that could execute on them, right? When it came to the Quinn, when it came to, it's like the conversation between Keen and Doran is very similar to the conversation of 369 versus Bin, I think. It's like Doran is the 369 of Genji in some essence, with a more lavish flavor of inconsistencies. I'm isolating his later best of fives in the playoffs. And then Keen, you know, Keen kind of... I'm very, very disappointed when it comes to Keen. Very disappointed when it comes to Keen in the context of the BO5s against T1. So those ones are really, really like etched in my mind. But I think knowing what kind of a field that you need to play up against, I probably would want to prefer... I would prefer Keen than Doran against every one of these players besides Zeus. I'm struggling between the placings of these two because it's just a flavor thing. I think this is just a flavor thing. I think we leave it at that, gentlemen. So, I think undisputed Kanavi. Why is Kanavi number one? Sure, there's been some single games where Kanavi is imprecise, but I think in terms of overall volume, insane. I think Kanavi's body of work over the last 2 years has been absolutely mental. Absolutely mental. I think the biggest thing Kanavi's got going on for him coming into this tournament as well is the fact that, you know, Kanavi can do it all. And I think that's what makes him so damn unfair. If for some reason, you know, we have a lot of Belveth going on, you know, it's like when it comes to, he's just meta-proof, very dynamic. He plays the game beautifully, timings around bot. I think that when it comes to who you want on your team over anybody else, it's Kanavi. It's just Kanavi. I don't think that, you know, if you look at the other names, right? It's like Peanut should be up there, right? Peanut should be up there. No question asked, right? Tarzan should also be up there, right? Tarzan should be up there. And then I think Weiwei is fucking good, by the way. I think Weiwei is fucking good. I think Weiwei is a very, very big reason to get with Xiaohu. I think that he's a super big reason why Weibo managed to get here. And then we have Shun, which I think the biggest issue for Shun is that like he has had a crazy good fucking year, but when the Wukong and the Vice came out of the picture, he had a hard time adjusting. For some people mentioning Owner in the chat, like Owner has no business being here. I have to say that the junglers coming out of the LCK, I think that the jungle role has been rather like disappointing. It has been rather disappointing. For me, I would put Peanut second. I think Peanut has just ran the region way too hard to underestimate him. And I don't think that the meta will shift hard enough to put Peanut out of his place. Like, the argument against Peanut is like, do you see Peanut playing Talia? Do you see Peanut playing Viego? And like, this is where, you know, everything is hurting for him. But in terms of his consistency and finding the right timers and finding the right clears and making sure that everyone is secure, I think that Peanut, in terms of like jungling on the right champions, I don't think that anybody came close to him in the LCK. Like, he ran the whole region in the jungle position. Like, completely ran the whole region. I thought it was a big joke when KT got 5 people in the All-Pro, because it should have been Chovy, Keen, Peanut, Aiming, Lehend. Like, that should have been the top 5, you know? The main thing, right, that can put Peanut in different segments, right, is like the junglers below him. This is not the order, I'm just putting something, right? The junglers below him, I could see them doing better in Talia cases, doing better in Lee Sin cases, and so forth. Yeah, BDD did have a fantastic split, yes, but I did think Chovy performed better. So that's the only argument against Peanut, right? It's like, Kanavi is more complete as a player, but you know, Peanut, I think walking into Worlds, I still think that you can play Ivan, Rel, Maokai, Sejuani, and Poppy and be really fucking useful, right? That was like my biggest disappointment that came with 13.19, that I didn't think that jungle was attacked hard enough, right? Okay, next one for me has to be Tarzan. I think Tarzan has been fantastic in the regular split for a very long time, right? I think that LNG as a team was always the team that did super well in the regular split. and then when it came to the playoffs, they fell short. And I think summer was such a breakthrough for all of them, because when it comes to the performance of their support and top laner, they really broke through. The addition of Gala was massive, and Tarzan and Scout really got to shine, right? It's like you always need to contextually think about, what are you given from your team? What are you given from your team? What are you given from your team? What is the opportunities you're given from the level of your team, right? I think Tarzan as a player was crucial in LNG's success. I think that Tarzan has been fantastic on the meta champs, and we know that he's super good mechanically. I think though, in terms of the whole year of body of work and what the other two players have put in, I think that I have to value that as they're coming into this tournament, because I don't have any concerns about their performance continuing, you know? I don't have any concerns about their performance continuing. In my mind now, I think the players that come up next is just, I'm thinking about Shun and I'm thinking about Weiwei. I think that Weiwei and Xiaohu, I think that they were the main reason why Weibo even qualified. I think that the main reason that Weibo qualified was fucking Weiwei and Xiaohu. I think that Weiwei is really fucking good. I think Weiwei has fantastic champion pool. I think that he pretty much, like Weiwei was so fucking good. And the only thing that is holding me back from like putting him higher is that, you know, he came in rather late. And that's it, you know. It's like he just needs he just needs more games in the bank, you know. He just needs more games in the bank. I think Weiwei, bro, for the like every time Weibo are doing well, I think that he's been super good. So basically, guys, we need to look at the body of work and their volume. We're not going to make some crazy predictions off of their past or whatever, you know? In terms of the work that they've put in and the work that they have, you know, showcased throughout the year, I have to put Shun 5th. I think that putting Canyon in top 5, I think Canyon is the GOAT, you know? I think Canyon is the GOAT, but in terms of the gameplay recently, I don't think that he belongs in the top 5. And that doesn't mean that Canyon can't fucking break through, right? If someone's gonna break through, it's fucking Canyon, right? That's perfectly fine, and I'm fine with that, you know? I don't say that that is some crazy ass logic. Yak does not belong in the top 5, guys. Yak had some good games at MSI, and Yak is not gonna be a problem, right? It's like, I think if we look at the role, right? I think that jungle as a role, it is such a decision-based role that you can get away with being mechanically worse because of how the meta is, you know? It's like jungle is going to be the role that you're least exposing due to the nature of jungle. And additionally, we have some good fucking junglers, by the way. We have some good fucking junglers in Europe. I think that we have some solid fucking junglers in Europe. I have a very low opinion of Owner. Maybe Owner's biggest blessing is that Lee Sin got buffed, but I have a very low opinion of Owner. I think that Owner was a massive problem for T1. It's like, I don't know if it's a question of jungle, right? But it's like Keria and Owner, they are very bad engines. Yeah, I think Kaz, I would put Kaz over Owner, yeah. I think that the issue is with T1 for me is that their engines, which is Keria and Owner, they are very bad engines. They are not good at controlling around mid. They are not good at controlling any space together. They are just mechanically very good. They are mechanically very good. They're mechanically very good, and when they can cross to the point in the game where they are team fighting and they are like playing lane-oriented play, I think that's where they struggle. And I think that this is the toughest thing for me, you know? But nevertheless, I think coming into Worlds based on performance, I think this would be my list. All right, mid lane. Mid lane probably, holy, people are gonna get themselves going now, but Scout is my number 1 mid laner. Scout is my number 1 mid laner. Scout has been so unbelievably good this year. It's crazy. It is crazy how good he is. Oh my lord, what's the flaw of Scout? Every time I watch this motherfucker, I get goosebumps. I go crazy every time I see Scout play the game, bro. For me, right? It's mind-blowing how good this guy is. And that's all I can say. That's all I can say. It's crazy how good he is. It's crazy. And I think the only reason anyone will put Chovy or Knight is based off of like buzz. Scout for me is the #1 player in terms of like the whole year. Only due to the nature of his role. If Ruler had the performance he had on AD, on mid, I would put him there. Because Ruler, in terms of the gap between him and everybody else, is fucking massive. But the field it's like, if you just think about who Scout has had to play against, right? It's like just looking at the 4 mid laners coming out of China. Knight, Scout, Yagao, and motherfucking Zhao Hu. And you know, for the homies that don't watch a lot of LPL, they might think, oh, Zhao Hu is an old name, he doesn't do too well fucking internationally, whatever, you know. No, this year, bro, this summer, Zhao Hu has been fucking good. Zhao Hu has been really fucking good. Zhao Hu and Wei Wei is the only reason, by the way, Wei Wizard Worlds. Now my main question on the second one, because I think I've made my case for Scout. My only question for the second one is, am I gonna put Knight or Chovy? Am I gonna put Knight or Chovy? So the key thing about Chovy, what is exciting for me, right? I think that when it came to the MSI, I think that what the flaw of Chovy is, right? What the flaw of Chovy is, and what the flaw of a lot of mid laners until they break out their mid lane wings is that they don't have good understanding of how to win through others. So Chovy, for the longest time, right? Chovy for the longest time has been the player that dominates lane. And he is capable of dominating lane against some of the best of the best. And this has been his hallmark. But every mid laner, at some point, they realize that there are better ways to win games. And I think that I saw signs of that for Chovy when it came to the playoffs. Like that Talia, bro, like his best of 5, right? It's like he had such a great best of 5, but Delight somehow had the performance of a lifetime. So Chovy's performance got a little bit forgotten there. But I think that as a mid laner, first you learn how to win through mid. And then you learn how to play the map to win the game. And I think Chovy is getting there. I think Knight has gotten further. He's gotten further. No, for sure Caps doesn't have that issue. Caps doesn't have that issue. Caps has recognized that, right? Caps has recognized that, and Faker has recognized that. Showmaker recognized that, and then he won Worlds with Canyon, right? It's like Damwon went from Klepto, farm, solo lane, beasts, and just hope that you get the big enough lane advantage to a team that played together and was super, super good. Caps' issue is laning phase is naturally true. It will be tough. It's like the mid lane is coming out of the LCK. It's like the mid lane is coming out of LCK and LPL this year, bro. Are crazy. They are so strong. They are so strong. So now the question is, I think due to Chovy's growth, I'm gonna slap him second and Knight third due to Chovy's growth. But Knight is really fucking good. I think this is a so hard one, bro. This is a hard one here. This is a very, very hard one in my opinion. And then maybe people are gonna get angry, but where's Zhao Hu? We forgot about Zhao Hu, bro. There he is. There's Zhao Hu. But I don't really care because it's my tier list after all. I'm gonna put Yagao fourth. Because I watched the whole year. I didn't watch 2 best of 5s and then say, wow, Bilibili is trash. I watched the whole year of gameplay. Yagao is the epitome of he's always there no matter what in good conditions. He's always there no matter what in good conditions. He is so slept on because he's so subtle in the way he plays the game. The arguments against Yagao, right? Where the fuck is your Tristana Yagao, right? Yagao, Tristana, Syndra, oof, can be better. Yagao is magnifique. He is such a fucking... He's such an engine, bro. Such an engine. Bin wouldn't work if it wasn't for Yagao. Yagao is the 369 of Bilibili, in my mind. And I think Yagao is slept on. And then my fifth is Zhao Hu. I think the only reason, like Weibo is at Worlds because of Xiaohu and Weiwei. These two players. I think that the mid lane is coming out of the LPL. The mid lane is coming out of the LPL, guys, as something else. The mid lane is coming out of LPL as something else, man. I think probably, I have to say, I think probably Faker is the least strong mid laner coming out of China and Korea combined. Cream as well, yeah, Cream. Jizuki is in the chat. Jizuki, what do you think about this list? Let's take bot laners, guys. I have 15 minutes to finish. So let's just make this quick. Ruler's number 1. My number 2 AD carry is... I can't find them for some damn reason. Where are you? There you are. There you are, mate. Where's Jackie Love? Where's Jackie Love, guys? Where is Jackie Love? Where is Jackie Love? Where's Viper? Oh my lord. Where's Elk? That's Elk. And then, probably the one that's gonna drive the most people insane. Where's Gumiushi? Oh, here it comes. Oh, Draven! Draven? Remember Draven? The Gumiushi Draven homies are gonna get out. Alright, so Ruler is in the conversation for the best player on the planet. We don't need to spend time there, okay? We don't need to spend time. We don't need to spend time there, okay? We don't need to spend time there, let's be honest. We don't need to waste time talking about Ruler. Ruler speaks for himself. His gameplay speaks for itself. Watch a fucking Ruler VOD. Ruler somehow won Worlds 6 years ago and is peaking in 2023. Mental. Gala is a mountain, man. Gala is a mountain. I think that he is so damn consistent. Like, you know what's so unique? It's like Ruler performs at like 97% all the time. Okay, 97% performance. It's like if he was a fucking FIFA card, 97. Okay, Gala performs at a solid like 92 all the time. Pays solid 90. Elk, he performs at a solid 85, but he can find the hundreds. That's what's fun about Elk. That's what's fun about Elk. I mentioned it before. I think T1's 2 best performing players has been Zeus and Gumiushi this year. I think Zeus and Gumiushi this year has been, you know, the real deal. You know, these 2 players have been the real deal. I think that Gumiushi has carried a lot of fucking games. Some games, sure, he's made some mistakes, but I don't hold that shit against people that hard. Like, I think the T1 is a very, very dysfunctional team. I think Jackie Love is 99 or 19. Okay, I don't fucking tolerate Jackie Love. Like Jackie Love's summer split was so fucking insane. He was a solid fucking 95. Like Jackie Love would be right here 3rd or 2nd if it wasn't for anything else. Jackie Love deserved to be all pro, by the way, in the LPL. Jackie Love was insane. 99 or 19. Come on. Pays. I think that we don't need to linger on this list too long. I only have 10 more minutes to do support. I think that T1, I think Gumiushi and Zeus, the most 2 important players. I think Elk, the biggest argument against Elk is that, you know, with Aphelios falling out of the meta and Jinx falling out of the meta, it's like, how did he land? I don't think he landed that well. And I think this has been the biggest struggle for Elk. But outside of that, Elk has been really, really amazing. I think that Pays landed in that situation a lot better than Elk did. And I think Pays, together with Delight, has been really, really good and solid. I think Ruler and Gala, though, they are just... Gala is a step ahead of these in terms of like the output. And then Ruler is just the GOAT. Let's do supports. I think support's probably the fucking toughest one, I'm not gonna lie. It's like supports is really, really hard. But my mind is telling me I want to put Missing first. I don't see him. There he is. Handsome Devil. I think Missing is a player that in a team of so many superstars, I think that Missing goes under the radar. But I think that in terms of team fighting and lane phase, he's so damn good. And basically, Missing in On. So where's On? Where's On? Help me find On. This is On, yeah? This is On. I took a mistake of On and Shun. This is On, yeah? This is On. We need Mickey. We need Mickey up here. Mickey. And then we need Delight. Thing is, it's I don't think Korea belongs. It's like, how can I put Korea up here? I think Korea is a mechanical demon. I think Korea is a mechanical demon. Mechanically, really, really insane. Did you watch Asian Games? Yes. But Asian Games, as much as I like the fact that it's a medal event and so forth, good for League of Legends, Asian Games, to use that to rate anybody, bro, what the hell? So, Korea, right? He was range soup only, and maybe that's because of Owner and Korea, but these two players, they don't work together at all. It's simply dysfunctional. And I can't put all of the blame on Owner. I think Korea is a mechanical demon, very good mechanically. I think that he lanes well with Gumayushi, but his cooperation with everybody else in the early game and then the transition to mid, it's like if you put T1 in team fights, I think that you're happy, right? They're very, very strong team fight. I think that mechanically, this is a super talented team. But in terms of the team play aspects, I think that they are lacking heavily. And I think the inconsistency of that, when the games are not about strict lane phase, I think that they become a lot worse. And I think that when Faker is not on champions, where he can push and also control the game, I think that he also becomes quite a liability. So I put On second. I put On second. I think On, it's like missing is Mickey X and On is Hilly. My main point is like missing performs at a solid 90% always. On, he has moments where he goes 100, but sometimes he drops to 70, 60. That's the story of these two. I think Delight, the light story of this year has been magnificent. I think that his run in playoffs, I think he was essential. I think that he made such a big damn statement that he made everyone forget how well Lehens played in regular split. That's how big of a statement Delight did. I think Delight, very, very well put together player, plays all the metas, plays all the champion. A really, really strong player. I can easily see myself putting him here, But I'm going to back the Billy boys because they are getting too much slander for dropping 2 BO5s. Way too much slander, Mickey's gonna be my fourth, man. Mickey's gonna be my fourth. Mickey, simply put, he's gonna be my fourth. Let me think. Like Mickey is the best player coming out of Europe. I think that Mickey is the best player coming out of Europe. I don't think there's an argument. I don't think Korea has showed in the last couple of months that he's complete enough. But the thing is, a player of Korea's mechanical caliber, it's like all of the things that Korea are missing, I think that you can add. So still, right? It's like that's the beauty of T1's roster. Is mechanically they're super, super talented. And when things align, these players are players that can jump up, But in terms of like performance, as Korea's summer was not that great. And then the final question, right? I don't think that Chris was very solid, but I don't think his champion pool cuts it. Like Lehens is a funky one, right? Because he plays goofy ass champs. And that's like, it's like Lehens on the right champs, he's up here. But Lehens plays goofy champs. He plays goofy champs and does goofy shit. Now I don't know how many games I watched Lehens losing Flash level 1 and this guy is a psycho. He's a psycho. And I don't feel comfortable with a psycho at that level. It's funny that every support, you can put them in the Mickey bracket or the Hilly bracket. There's only 2 types of support. Are they like Hilly or are they like Mickey? There's only 2 types of support. And Lehens is in the Hilly box. For sure Lehens is in the Hilly box. That's it for my top 5 playlist. I think it's best that I just say it and I peace out, Because now with Korea not being in the top 5, I peace out.